go to the show-stealing moment of the night, which was definitely the fastest KO in UFC history, which was Jorge Masvidal or Jorge Masvidal. I'm never sure which one to say. Which is it, Jorge?
It's Jorge and George. I mean, like I'm Luis technically. Like if you're saying it with a Hispanic accent, I'm Luis Gomez. So I say Jorge Masvidal, but if you say George, I don't know. It really is whatever he prefers, right?
So basically, they're both correct. It's just which one he prefers.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so he runs out, and now, of course, that he knocked Askren out in 5 seconds. And by the way, commiserations to Ben Askren. I sent him a message on Instagram. By the way, Ben Askren, if you're listening, if somebody sends you a message on Instagram offering their condolences and kind words, it's normally polite to respond. But whatever, I get it. You're ignorant. But
he also might not have feeling in his fingertips.
Yeah, he might still be in intensive care. No, now that happened, it seems like the most obvious thing to do, because I even said to Ben himself, who's a great guy and very intelligent and very smart, but he looks for the takedown. He's truly a one-dimensional guy. You know, he's not interested in standing and trading shots, and he's always going to put the head down and go for the legs. And now that he did that, and now that Masvidal just ran forward and flying kneed him in the face, I mean, it seems obvious and straightforward, but it was genius to come up with that game plan, because that's what Ben does. And so jump up and meet him halfway with a knee to the face. And the reason that knee was so powerful is because a lot of the time, a fighter will be standing stationary. You know, they'll be trading blows in their, in their fighting stances, maybe just within striking distance. And then one will come in and he'll jump up in the air, or maybe they'll take one step and jump towards their opponent and throw the flying knee. So the majority of the force, it's a little bit of the body weight moving towards them, but most of it comes from the leg, the power of the leg hitting them in the face. Well, with Masvidal's knee, that was his entire body weight running at full sprint halfway across an octagon, then leaping into the air. So he's got his, I don't know what he would have weighed, 185 pounds or whatever it was, flying through the air, which is already a lot of force, then combining it with the power of the leg as well. So it was almost like a double whammy flying knee. And of course, we saw Askren go down and hit him with those punishing shots afterwards. But yeah, dude, what a knockout.
Incredible knockout. When you look at the timer, it really was 3 seconds from when he actually knocked him out. It was 5 seconds from the ref stopped it, so that's the official time. But it was really impressive. There seems to be something about Masvidal right now. He's hit his stride. Maybe it's the kids. Maybe it's just realizing like this is his opportunity. I see shades of Michael Bisping in Jorge Masvidal. This is the run right now. This seems to be like he's ready to go for that title shot. And there's something in the air. I have a feeling that Jorge Masvidal will have a UFC belt around his waist by the end of the year. I have a feeling something's going to happen there. And I know you talked to him specifically about fighting Colby Covington if Covington gets through Robbie Lawler, and he's definitely down to do that. But it was really impressive. Not only really impressive the way that he fought him, the way that he beat him, but also leading up to it, post-fight press conference. What? That 15, 20-minute post-fight press conference? The sound bites just, I'm a fan. He doesn't like me. He's called me a fake comedian on Twitter. I have to accept it. I am a fake comedian. He's a real ass dude. What am I gonna do? He's real deal, man. When they asked him, that reporter was like, "What would you say to people that say maybe you shouldn't have hit him with those shots after the bell?" And he was like, "What do you
go watch soccer?
Go watch." He was like, "My job is to hit him until the referee pulls me off. That's that. If you don't like it, you're watching the wrong sport." It was so badass and so the spirit of what I like in a fighter that I was like, fuck it. He won me over completely. This is the fight that is I'm a fan. You guys are friends and everything now, but I got to be honest with you. That fucking was such a great performance. I'm just in awe.
Well, no, same here. Absolutely, and it's funny because the last time I saw Masvidal was in London when he fought Darren Till. And obviously, as you know, anyone that listens to the show, we've kind of gone back and forth. He sent me many messages on Instagram and made them public, and we talked shit, and he went at me a couple of times. And, we've had public spats. It never came to blows or anything. And I always said, I don't know what his issue is with me, to be honest, other than ripping up the Cuban flag, which is, it was a lighthearted bit of banter as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, he came up to the desk afterwards. And Chael said to me, because Chael was you had John Anik on the end, Chael in the middle, and me on the other end. And Chael's like, are you two guys cool? I'm like, honestly, I don't think so. I've got no issue with him, but you know what he's like. He's a hothead for sure. And he's like, and Chael said, do you want to stand in the middle so that I'm on the end? I'm like, Chael, what the fuck do you think I am? Do you think I'm going to bitch out and say, yeah, switch positions because the bad man might get me? I'm like, no. But listen, Jorge came up, George came up, and he was cool as fuck, man. And I think he realized, because when I saw him in London, I walked past and, I could have, if I wanted to be an asshole there, I could have been an asshole. But I said, hey, what's up, George? And he kind of nodded. And I think that was us, without saying squashing the beef type thing. And he come up and he was cool as hell, man. He was cool as hell. And, I said, congratulations. I said some kind words, because how can you not? At the end of the day, you got to respect that. What he did out there, that was fucking phenomenal. Not only did he make history, the fastest knockout in UFC history, he just knocked out a 19-0 undefeated fighter in 5 seconds or 3 seconds or 2 seconds, whatever it was. You got to give the man his respect, right? And he was very gracious. He took the respect and he didn't act like an idiot. He didn't try and start shit with me, and he was actually cool. And we said some nice words back and forth, and I gave him a little hug at the end. And so, yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe we're cool now. You never know. I'm still not sure I'm going to go hit him up next time I'm in Miami. But
you might need him. You might need his protection at this point.
Probably will.
Maybe if he thinks you're cool, you won't be attacked by all the Cubans in Miami.
But so anyway, so he did amazing there.
Well, he specifically did an interview and said what it was, why he was kind of squashed. I think it was with Ariel Helwani.
With me.
Yeah, he said it was London specifically. He said he was like, Bisping could have been a dick just to be a dick, like just to get in his head. He knows it's fight week. Till's a British guy, and Bisping could have just gotten in my head, whatever it is, just or think he's getting in my head, talk shit, try to get me riled up, try to get me emotional. And he didn't. He just was very respectful, and he was like, at that point, it was, it was kind of like, what are we doing? So yeah, definitely, it's I think it's a similar thing where it's like you guys are. There's guys that are like athletes in the UFC where it's like they wear the Reebok gear and they look good and then there's just guys who, like, you can tell certain guys are just fighters, and there's this weird like respect amongst guys who are like legitimate fighters. So it's cool that you guys squashed the beef. Masvidal, awesome. I'm glad he's also saying that he's willing to fight Covington as well, which I hate that. We haven't. It hasn't come up that often in the years that we've been doing shows together, right? Fighting teammates. It doesn't happen that often.
Well, exactly. And here's the thing. And I said this to Masvidal on the night. I can't remember the exact wording, but the possibility of him fighting Covington came up. And he just said, and I said to him, I said, fucking, that is so refreshing to hear, because Chael or Ariel or Anik, whoever it was, spoke about him fighting Colby Covington and the fact that you're teammates. And Jorge said, he basically said, I'm doing this for me. Teammates, all well and good, but screw you. I'm putting myself first before anybody. And if I'm going to be world champion, if I'm going to take what's mine and make the money I can, then if I've got to fight you, I'll fight you all day long. And I was like, yes, thank you very much. Because, maybe they are super close. I don't know if they are, but generally you go in and train with someone doesn't mean that you are actual brothers. And they'll they take it from you. So I'll take it from them. Of course there is loyalty and you help each other get good and all the rest of it. And you don't talk about what goes on outside the training room, but ultimately you can't get in each other's ways of your goals. If you're both trying to be champion, I know Covington thinks he's already the champ, but he's not. But so I really respected that from Jorge. I really did, and you're right. He is a real fighter. And there's not too many in the UFC. There's a lot of athletes. There is a lot of fighters. Of course there's a lot of fighters, but like real fighters that will throw down on a moment's notice, that are scared of no man, and he's one of those guys, and I do respect that.
Yeah. I agree with you, Mike.
There you go.
Thank you, Daniel. Mr. SB Fighter of the Year, Daniel Cormier, chiming in there. So that was Masvidal. Now we got to get to Luke Rockhold.
Yeah,
we got to talk about Luke, and the amount of messages that people have sent me, because everyone seems to think that I'm going to take pleasure in seeing Luke knocked out like that. And it's the opposite. I really feel for the guy. I do. I feel bad for him. It's a real shame. Not only did he get his jaw broken, but he's now been knocked out cold, viciously, in 3 of his last 4 fights.